In neighbouring Sri Lanka, preparations for the 14th November parliamentary elections are underway as the island nation prepares to vote to elect 225 members to the parliament. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake dissolved parliament on 24 September to clear the way for the general elections, days after the Marxist-leaning leader was elected president on a platform for change. The election became necessary as Dissanayake had just 3 lawmakers in the outgoing parliament whose 5-year term was due to end in August 2025 and needed a fresh mandate to push his policies. Polling will be held on Thursday between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. local time at over 13,400 polling stations. Counting of votes will begin at 4:15 p.m. with postal ballots first and ballot boxes after they are shifted to the counting centres. All right, let's go across to Colombo. DD India's Dr. Ahmed Moin Faruqi is joining us live. Dr. Faruqi, litmus test for Dissanayake first, and silent period is on. Take us through the preparations ahead of the polls.
Abhishek, yes, you are absolutely right. It's a litmus test for National People's Power's the party as well as the President Anura Kumara Dissanayake. Primarily because you see, if you look at the presidential elections which were held in Sri Lanka in September this year, the president could not muster a complete 50% majority at that point of time, and it had the counting had to be taken to the second round, wherein the top 2 were only the candidates who were remaining, while the other candidates were excluded. This makes a case that the National People's Power may or may not probably be in a position to muster a majority in the manner that they would be expecting. However, it's being anticipated that they will do much better in terms of their performance as compared to what had been seen in parliamentary elections in 2020, where they had only secured 3 seats. Now, going from 3 seats to securing about 43% of the popular vote in the presidential elections, it shows that the National People's Power has come a long way. Now, it needs to be seen how the voters would be voting tomorrow, in which direction they would want the Sri Lankan polity to go ahead. There had been a talk of a radical change during the presidential elections when President Anura Kumara Dissanayake had talked about revamping the entire system, freeing it from corruption, and bringing about a new Sri Lanka. And this is something which had appeared to be resonating with several of the common people in Sri Lanka across the entire island. Now, for tomorrow, what has been planned is that 13,400 plus polling centers will be open to all the 17 million electorate across the island, and the voting will go on till 4 p.m. In fact, the counting of votes will commence at around 4:15 p.m. starting with the postal ballots. We should also remember that Sri Lanka had allowed 730,000 government employees to cast their votes through postal ballots earlier this month. Okay. And that will be the first thing that will be counted. And thereafter, around 7:30 p.m., according to the Election Commission, that will be the rough time when the ballot boxes will be they will be shifted by that time to the counting centers, okay, and the counting of the ballots will then commence.
Fair enough. Dr. Faruqi, also tell us about the candidates. How do we see the contest and also the front runners?
Yes, Abhishek, you see, there are more than 8,800 candidates in the entire island for vouching for the 196 electoral district seats, as well as certain names which will come up for the nomination as members of parliament from the national list. National list is something which is nominated on the basis of the percentage of the votes that the parties would poll in the entire country. Now, this is one part of it. However, if you're asking me about the prominent names, first I would like to mention here that unlike what has been seen in the last few years, the Rajapaksa family is not in the race in this election. Yes, they have, in fact, the entire family has decided not to contest these elections. Apart from them, the former president Ranil Wickremesinghe also is not contesting the elections this time around. Among the people who are the big names, the key contenders, we have the current Prime Minister, Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, who is contesting from Colombo. We have former opposition leader, Sajid Premadasa, who will want to come back to the position of at least in the opposition at least, or maybe to get the bigger number as far as possible. So that is another name. The Vijita Herath, he's contesting from Gampaha. He's the current public security as well as foreign affairs minister. We have also a few other names who have represented Sri Lankan parliament in the previous occasions, including Iran Vikramaratne as well as
Right.
Digambaram and various other names. So contest is going to be very intense because NPP will want to secure a majority, because a majority in the parliament would mean that they will have a smooth running of the government for the
Exactly.
next 5 years. Abhishek.
All right, Dr. Faruqi, thank you for getting us the updates from Colombo.